Hello and welcome to another edition of Foreign Dispatches, the program that takes you around the world in 25 minutes. I'm Layo Olarinde. On the program this week, thousands of Palestinians flee as Israeli troops push into Gaza City. Plus, Nepal mourns its dead after anti-corruption protests. In Gaza, Israel has launched its long-planned ground offensive on Gaza City, unleashing heavy airstrikes overnight as troops pushed to the city's edge. Hundreds of thousands of Palestinians are again on the move as the United Nations warns of famine and a looming catastrophe.
As Israel launched its major ground offensive on Gaza City, Palestinians streamed south along a single coastal road, on donkey carts, rickshaws, overloaded vehicles, and on foot. The UN says more than 856,000 displacement movements have been recorded since March. Many say they cannot afford to leave, while others insist nowhere in Gaza is safe.
Where will all these people go? Stop the war. We are tired and we are dying every minute. They told us to leave, but where can we go? Somewhere south. We are dying. Just look at all these people fleeing.
We keep moving from place to place. I am from the north of Gaza and fled south, but we were bombed there too. Then we fled to a house in the Sheikh Radwan neighborhood, but that was destroyed too. Finally, we came here to live with one of my husband's relatives. Now we are forced to leave again.
Hospitals in Gaza City are overwhelmed. Al-Shifa and Al-Rantasi are treating patients on floors with shortages of beds, medicine and oxygen.
The numbers are huge. We are forced to treat patients on the floor. There are only 3 operating rooms and long waiting list for the seriously injured.
The World Health Organization says forcing 1 million people to evacuate to a so-called humanitarian zone in the south risks collapse of the health system, with nearly half of all ICU beds still in Gaza City. As the offensive escalates, Israel says it is targeting Hamas's last major stronghold. On Tuesday, the IDF bombed Gaza's tallest building, the 20-story Al-Ghafri Tower, claiming Hamas used it for surveillance. Residents described losing everything in minutes.
They flattened the tower, killing children. They just want to displace us. We have no money. Where shall we go? They are pounding the high-rise building to force us to leave.
The destruction has drawn sharp international criticism. A new UN inquiry accused Israel of committing genocide, the first such finding by a UN body.
The Commission concluded that Israel has committed genocide against the Palestinian of the Israeli government is abundantly clear as we continue to witness the destruction of Palestinians in Gaza. The Commission finds it is genocide.
Israel rejected the claim as Hamas falsehoods. It says its offensive, dubbed Operation Gideon's Chariots 2, aims to defeat Hamas and recover remaining hostages. But with more than 64,000 Palestinians killed since October 2023, according to Gaza's health ministry, humanitarian agencies say civilians are paying the highest price. Meanwhile, Israel continues to face condemnation for its September 9th strike on Hamas negotiators in Doha.
Israel's strike on negotiators in Doha on the 9th of September was a shocking breach of international law, an assault on regional peace and stability, and a blow against the integrity of mediation and negotiating processes around the world. The attack violated the right to life under international human rights law and the principles of international humanitarian law. Targeting parties engaged in internationally supported mediation on its territory undermines Qatar's key role as a facilitator and peace broker. It is an attack on global efforts to resolve conflicts peacefully. In the case of the Israeli attack in Doha, the Hamas delegation was in Qatar to negotiate for a ceasefire, a vital step towards peace, and peace that is so desperately needed in Gaza, in the occupied West Bank, in Lebanon, in Syria, in Yemen, and across the entire region. This is the latest in a long list of illegal facts on the ground that are bringing the two-state solution closer and closer to a point of no return.
5 people were killed in the Doha strike, including a Qatari security officer. Hamas said its senior negotiators survived. The group was reportedly considering a new U.S. peace proposal at the time.
Israel's airstrikes in Doha, Qatar on 9 September shocked the world. It was an alarming escalation, especially since it targeted individuals who were reportedly gathered to discuss the latest U.S. proposal for a ceasefire and hostage release deal in Gaza. The Israeli attack on Doha potentially opens a new and perilous chapter in this devastating conflict, seriously threatening regional peace and stability. Qatar, along with Egypt and the United States, has been working intensively to broker a ceasefire and hostage release agreement in Gaza. Efforts aimed at ending the suffering and paving a path toward peace. Thank you, Mr. President. Any action that undermines the work of mediation and dialogue weakens confidence in the very mechanisms we depend on for conflict resolution. Preserving the integrity of negotiation and mediation channels is crucial for fostering the trust that parties need to engage in meaningful dialogue.
Israel has defended the strike, calling the targets terror masterminds.
On September 9th, Israel carried out a precise and targeted strike in Doha. The strike targeted Hamas leaders who for years have planned and directed attacks against Israel, many times making these directives from the luxury confines in Doha. These terrorists were the sole target of the operation. The men targeted were not legitimate politicians, diplomats, or representatives. They were the masterminds of terror. They orchestrated the massacre on October 7th. For too long, Qatar has harbored terrorists, offering Hamas leaders sanctuary in luxury hotels while they orchestrate massacres and terror attacks. History will not be kind to accomplices. Either Qatar condemns Hamas, expels Hamas, and brings Hamas to justice, or Israel will.
Qatar has denounced the strike as a flagrant violation of international law and rejected Israeli demands to expel Hamas, saying its mediation role will continue.
In Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, children in Butembo are back in the classrooms for the first school year since M23 rebels seized control of key areas. Now, families welcome the reopening, but fighting continues, and a new UN report accuses both the rebels and government forces of atrocities.
In Butembo, students were seen arriving with their parents as the new academic year began.
We welcome children newly enrolled and those displaced by insecurity. Even children without documents can join us.
But schools are struggling with limited resources to cope with demand.
We as parents cannot always monitor our children while working in the fields. More supervision is needed to support them.
Across the country, millions of children are back in class, but conflict in the east has not stopped. The government and M23 continue to accuse each other of breaking a July ceasefire, while a broader peace deal with Rwanda also hangs in the balance. The UN Human Rights Office says both sides have committed serious abuses.
The M23 armed groups, with training, material, intelligence and operational support from the Rwandan Defense Forces, captured major cities in North and South Kivu. The group engaged in a campaign of intimidation and violent repression through a recurrent pattern of summary executions, torture, detention, enforced disappearances, and forced recruitment targeting anyone perceived as opposing the M23, regarded as a threat to its notion of order and security, or deemed fit to fight or serve the movement. The report also documents grave violations committed by the DRC armed forces and affiliated groups, such as the Wazalendo, including deliberate killings of civilians. It identifies a pattern of widespread use of sexual violence by them as well, mainly gang rape and rape against women and girls, and looting by members of the FARDC and Wazalendo during their retreat from the front lines in January and February. The report finds that both DRC and Rwanda bear responsibility for their support to armed groups with known track records of serious abuses, and for failing to meet their obligations to take all measures to ensure respect for international humanitarian law and to protect civilians from harm.
While multiple human rights bodies and the UN have accused parties in the DRC conflict of gross atrocities, this is the first UN report to find that those abuses may have constituted crimes against humanity. Meanwhile, UNHCR Chief Filippo Grandi visited displaced communities in North Kivu, calling for urgent humanitarian support.
The people that you see here, the community of Kimoka, for a long time has been displaced from their own village, from this village. There is a little hope now with the peace talks in the United States and in Doha, creating hopefully a better political environment in which we can bring more easily help to these communities. But we cannot wait. People are hungry. Children cannot go to school. Sick people cannot be treated. So we're really appealing for urgently for assistance, humanitarian assistance to be delivered to try to alleviate at least a bit this very dramatic situation.
With civilians caught between the fighting, aid workers warn the crisis is worsening and accountability remains out of reach. Following mediation by Qatar, the DRC and the rebels signed a declaration of principles on July 19th in which they pledged to start negotiating a peace deal in August. The two sides have so far missed the deadline to reach a peace agreement.
When Foreign Dispatches returns in just a moment, tilapia ice cream goes viral in the Philippines. Please stay with us.
In every show, we bring you closer to the fastest growing movie industry in the world. From the making to the premiere. Get up close and personal with the stars and industry captains, plus reviews and much more. Nollywood Uncut, every week at these times.
There are places you would like to go. There are faces you would like to see.
My palm is bruised. It's a tiny scar, but it's very painful.
Too many exciting things happening all at once.
From time I've always loved playing the villain.
But you can't be everywhere. Guess what? Yes, we can. Your favorite lifestyle content lives here. Let us be your eyes and ears. Here